Last week I watched a Christmas special on TV that I remembered from my childhood. Santa Claus is coming to town, told and sung by Fred Astaire, purports to answer all the children's whys and hows, their questions about the story of Santa Claus. Chock full of whimsical reasoning, the late 60s era stop-motion photography animation sings and dances its way across the screen. By the end of the hour, Winter Warlock's heart has melted, and Burgermeister Meisterburger has relinquished his prohibition on toys, and I am a teary-eyed mess. The softening of our characters comes due to the kindness and generosity of Kris Kringle, the now grown orphan child raised by the toy-making Kringle elves. With a mild foray into Christmas theology about these qualities entering the world in the form of the baby Jesus, bringing goodness and love to all humankind, the change of heart arrives through the actions of a human being. The tears arose because my heart was touched by these antidotes to earthly woes, the idea that kindness and goodness, compassion and generosity can make a difference. I had a heart connection with the characters, with the writer, with the belief itself. And it was stories like these from my early years that likely helped to shape my values. Poet David Whyte suggests that it only takes one line of poetry to change your life. The poet's lens is a powerful force. All month we've been reading the poetry of E.E. Cummings in our Advent reflections, moved by his words, but also by the heartfelt manner in which they are given to us. Writing from the age of 6, he penned nearly 3,000 poems in his lifetime. His heart was full, and he was compelled to speak from that place of depth. Our lives are transformed in the reading, in the hearing. Our hearts connect with his, and there is a shift in our view of the world. Our poets tonight tell the Christmas story with their own spin from their hearts, and no doubt the original stories were similarly formed, lives touched in such a way that they couldn't hold back, uttering forth from their context, their lived experience, and the meaning imparted. Denise Levertov tells the story of Mary's Annunciation through the eyes of feminist reconstruction, and suddenly the young woman comes to us with agency and a strength we likely always knew she possessed. But now we connect in a different way. Our 19th century poets capture the tale in the language of their day. Sarah Teasdale's early 20th century lyric poetry centers women's changing perspectives on beauty and love. Her Christmas Carol weaves imagery into the story, focusing on texture and color and light, and we are enabled to feel the fabric, hear the song, transported to a place long ago in our minds, our hearts one with hers. And our hearts long with Sandra Castillo for places foregone, places of deep meaning left behind in the midst of what might otherwise be a joyous time. How many hearts are making such an encounter at this time of the year? David Whyte, in his recent broadcast, A Single Star in the Night, says that, quote, "What moves us always comes from what is hidden. What seems to be said so suddenly has lived in the body a long, long time," end quote. We receive the verses as if they had just rolled off the tongue or onto the page, but in all likelihood, they have lived in the heart of the poet for an eternity, swirling about, gathering energy, only finally making an appearance on the scene. It is this heart quality that touches us, a richness born of time and fermentation. Once given voice, its power to evoke emotion can't be denied. We experience a heart-to-heart connection, our own hearts stirred. We are moved to fuller meaning, greater understanding, our lives changed by the encounter. Full hearts are not the sole possession of the poet. We are all so possessed in this life, and if we are willing to pay attention to it, we have the ability to move our world in powerful ways. I am not so naive to think that goodness and love are the only qualities born of a full heart. We see the results of ill will and greed spilling out onto humanity from hearts equally full. But when enough hearts are inclined toward kindness and compassion, I do believe that the balance can be tipped. Elizabeth Jarrett Andrew, in her Living Revision, notes our embodied nature as the key to meaning-making that happens when we engage with a story or a poem. The creation that comes from a fully present self, pouring from the realm of emotion, ideas, and relationships within bodily sensory existence, shows up on the page. Presence, evoking presence. The heart of the writer becomes alive for us, honest, complex, and captivating. So too for us when we allow the voices of our hearts to greet the world around us. That which lives in us made available to that which lives beyond us. Powerful because of its embodied nature. Ripened over time and through experience, it is our best hope for the future. Tonight, I ask you to scan your hearts. Go ahead and place your hand over your heart. Listen for its voice. What values have taken root there? What that this world needs lives and grows in your heart, spiraling about, gathering strength, waiting for the moment of voice. Values spoken from the heart connect with those of other hearts that have been similarly biding their time, hidden, awaiting the opportunity to take shape, made more real as they are spoken into existence and shared. On this Christmas Eve, we bear witness to violence and strife around us, to be sure, but may we also bear witness to the goodness and compassion given voice in response. May our hearts join with others in giving voice to that which heals and makes whole. May the love we celebrate this Christmas be given voice in our world. Would you be with me now in a time of prayer? Spirit of love and of life, we gather on this night made holy by our presence here in community, by the coming together of caring hearts, lives touched by that which binds us one to another, values stirred into being and given voice in this place. We see all around us injustices born of fear and greed, hearts unable to hold the love so needed in our world. May the compassion that grounds us in our faith fill our hearts to overflowing, that our voices be lifted loud and strong in the midst of brokenness, and may we endeavor to be a voice of peace in hurtful places. Just as our lives are enriched by our coming together, uplifted by the shared contents of our hearts, may we be that heart-filled voice as we move through the days and weeks to come. May the heart of Christmas be with us all. Blessed be, and amen.